For almost 20 years, Apple has said the same thing. Touchscreens don't belong on laptops. But in 2026, that might finally change. According to multiple industry insiders, Apple could introduce the first ever touchscreen Mac with the upcoming MacBook Pro with the same M5 Pro and M5 Max chips. And if the rumors are true, this might be the biggest MacBook change in years. Apple has historically been very against touchscreens on Macs. In fact, the company has repeatedly said that touchscreen doesn't work well on laptops. Their argument was simple. People will constantly reach forward to touch the screen, which is uncomfortable and it would make the display covered in fingerprints. Instead, Apple believed in something very different. Touch was meant for the iPhone and the iPad, and Macs were meant for precision input using a keyboard and a trackpad. Two completely different experiences, but now the philosophy might be evolving. Well, 2026 could be the year Apple finally brings touch to the Mac, and not just for a small update. Rumors suggest that Apple is planning a major redesign of the MacBook Pro. That redesign could include something we've only seen in the iPhone, the Dynamic Island. First introduced with the iPhone 14 Pro, Dynamic Island transformed the front camera cutout into an interactive software element. Imagine something similar on a MacBook display, showing notifications, background activities, timers, or music playback. It could turn the top of the Mac screen into a much more dynamic interface. So how is it going to actually work? Apple is not turning the Mac into a tablet. Instead, the Mac will become touch-friendly, not touch-first. The core Mac experience will still revolve around the keyboard, trackpad, and the pointer interface. Touch will simply act as an optional bonus input. So you could scroll with your fingers, tap button directly on screen, or interact with certain apps using touch. But if you never want to use touch, you don't have to. The traditional Mac experience will remain exactly the same. To support this, Apple is also expected to evolve macOS. Last year's major visual redesign, the liquid glass interface, laid the groundwork for a more touch-friendly experience. Larger buttons, refined controls, and redesigned UI elements make the system easier to navigate using touch. Another interesting clue comes from macOS 27, which introduces iPhone-like pull-to-refresh support on the Mac. Users can now swipe down on the trackpad to refresh content in apps such as Safari, Mail, News, Podcasts, and Calendar. While this feature improves usability on current Macs, it is definitely a hint laying the foundation on the future touchscreen MacBooks. Another hint can be found in Spotlight. The new Search or Ask experience powered by Apple's revamped Siri is now deeply integrated into Spotlight on macOS 27. It features a sleek, dark, pill-shaped interface that looks remarkably similar to the Dynamic Island found on modern iPhones. If Apple does introduce a MacBook Ultra with a touchscreen and Dynamic Island, this interface could be repositioned higher on the display so that it naturally wraps around and integrates with the cutout when visible. But Apple is reportedly being very careful about one thing. This will not be a hybrid device like many Windows laptops. The MacBook Pro will still have the same full-size keyboard, the large trackpad, and the classic MacBook design. No detachable screens, no folding into a tablet. This will still be the MacBook Pro we've known for the past 2 decades. But according to the latest leaks, Apple has made a surprising shift in its chip strategy. Instead of introducing the next generation M6 Pro and Max chips, Apple may reportedly stick with the existing M5 Pro and Max processors for the next MacBook Pro refresh. In fact, the company could be skipping M6 generation Pro and Max chips entirely, while only introducing a standard M6 chip for the lineup. At the same time, Apple is said to be working on follow-up generation of touch MacBook Pros powered by M7 series chips, planned for as early as the end of 2027. And while the chip strategy shift is interesting on its own, it's part of a much bigger direction Apple seems to be taking around AI-focused performance and workload handling. But that shift goes much deeper and we'll break that down in another video. For now, it seems like 2026 and 2027 might end up being one of the most important years for the Mac. Hope you enjoyed this video and let me know in the comments what do you think about the upcoming MacBook Pros and do you think Apple is making the right decision by bringing touch to the Mac. I'm planning to post a lot more tech content on this channel. So stay tuned, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, share it and please subscribe to the channel. Also don't forget to follow us on Instagram for the latest tech updates. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.